Welcome to the ISIA Awards 2021 Winners podcast series. And thank you to Synergy Security Solutions, this year's media sponsor, for helping to make this series possible. I'm joined today by Nick O'Connor from Bidvest Noonan, this year's winner of the Innovation in Security Award, sponsored by Access Communications. Congratulations, Nick, to you and all the team at Bidvest Noonan on winning this year's Innovation in Security Award.
Thanks a million, Sarah. We're delighted to be here, delighted to be part of the podcast, and obviously delighted to win the award. Thank you.
As you know, the Innovation in Security Award was introduced in 2011 to recognize companies who are true examples of innovation in security. And it's been a successful category and really seems to be encouraging ISIA members to invest in innovation and to work at developing a culture where innovation can flourish. How does it feel to have achieved this win this year, Nick?
I think it's a fantastic result for us. We put quite a lot of effort into it starting at the back end of last year. We've obviously been finalists previously with the awards, and we've certainly learned some lessons from not quite making it to the end. We've obviously had some really good individual innovations on particular sites, and I think this year what pushed it over the edge was the process that we had introduced to get those innovations from our operatives, I suppose, to be implemented on sites.
And actually, that leads really nicely into my next question. Will you tell our listeners a little bit about that system that you've introduced in Bidvest Noonan, that your case study for your entry was based on?
Well, the process, I suppose, that we called it EDGE, I suppose, number one, which was empower, develop, grow, and excel. And basically what it was an idea to get innovation from our employees. We've 27,000 team members in the business, and every single one of those team members has good ideas every single day, and we wanted to try and capitalize on that and get their ideas into motion, I suppose, to help our clients and reduce costs and all of those good things that come with innovation. And the EDGE process, I suppose, was basically a library where we could store that information, that we could have easy access for the team members. They could get involved very quickly and very easily, and they could see their ideas come into play, I suppose, on sites and be used around the business.
Fantastic. And the thing about innovation is that it also requires an acceptance of risk and an acceptance that a certain amount of failure in order to actually eventually achieve success. How have the Bidvest Noonan team responded to not all ideas necessarily becoming actions?
I think it's been a bit of a process, I suppose, to get people involved. We cascaded it, I suppose. So we started off with 3 or 4 or 5 people in the team working on this project, and then cascaded it out to their teams. The uptake was slow to begin with, but then it took on a life of its own, to be honest. And we've got a lot of people now with kind of multiple ideas that once they've seen one idea, even if it's a small idea, come into play, it empowers them to keep going and look around and see is the way they're doing things the best way to do things. See is the equipment that they're using the best equipment, or is there other processes or other equipment that would be better used, save the client money and do things more efficiently.
Yeah, I'm sure that is really encouraging for the team. And what have you achieved to date because of implementing EDGE? Are there tangible results so far? And could you maybe share some examples with our listeners?
Yeah, sure. I suppose one of the wins we had recently, I suppose, it was a good idea from a site where the supervisor on the site had difficulties in making sure that everybody had done a firewalk on a particular site. And he obviously spoke to the client and took it upon himself to do a short video that basically demonstrated, what was involved in a firewalk should an emergency situation happen, how we would, show people out of the building, what we were able to do then was share it up on a Google Drive and give people access, obviously with the client's consent, that they knew even before they came into the building, if there was an emergency situation, how to get out and how to go to the correct assembly point, all that kind of stuff. And it was a really simple idea that the operative took on board themselves and made it happen. And we've broken that out now, and we're introducing it across most of our sites around the business, because it's a very simple, cheap idea. But obviously, has health and safety implications in a positive way, and is almost cost neutral, and obviously helps our clients.
Fantastic, and I'm sure it has been really rewarding for the team to see their ideas developed into action, an action that results in improvement in the organization. What has been the response to Edge from your colleagues?
I think it's like a snowball going down a hill, Sarah. I think we, as I say, we started small, with some one or two ideas, and that's gradually, grown legs, and we've increased the number of ideas coming in, and we've got people now who haven't done one simple input onto the innovation library are now putting suggestions in regularly, and it's just grown legs, and it's flying, and we get a lot more interest. And we're obviously pushing that, every week and every month, and we try to encourage staff with various things. If they have a really good idea that we implement across the business, we'll obviously reward them in some fashion, depending on what the idea is and depending on the site and all that kind of stuff. But it has grown legs, and people are really interested and involved now, and we've kind of pushed from the ground up, and we pushed from the top down. So every level of our business, I suppose, is involved now in the innovation process that we've set up.
Super. It's so fantastic to hear about the results of this action. Nick, you'll know from going to the awards over the years, we've had winners and finalists of the Innovation and Security Award who were SMEs and also very large organizations. But what they all had in common was they were true examples of innovation and security through process, product, or service innovation. What would you say to an organization who says that they don't have the time to invest in innovation, or maybe they feel they're too small, or they don't have the resources?
And I think if you put some thought into it, you can't not do it. It's a situation that kind of feeds itself. So, the more time and effort you put into it, the more reward you'll get out of it. So, if you can afford a bit of time to start off with, as we did, I suppose, it's like a snowball. It just gathers momentum, and you can add more and more on, and become more relevant, I suppose, for your clients and for the management in the company, I suppose, and save money, offer suggestions on health and safety, all that kind of stuff. And it just is, I couldn't say how important it is, because, if you're ignoring that one idea, that could be the change of a contract, the change of a life, the saving of a life. So, you should really, put the time and effort into the innovation and the thought around it.
Fantastic advice, and really encouraging words for anyone who is thinking about putting the time into investing in innovation. Thank you, Nick, for your time today, and congratulations again to you and all the team at Bidvest Noonan on being named the winner of this year's Innovation and Security Award, sponsored by Access Communications.
Thanks a million, Sarah. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a million.
Thank you, Nick. I'd also like to thank all our listeners for taking the time to tune in and hear Nick O'Connor speak to me today. Look out for our other ISIA Awards 2021 winner podcast interviews.